G'day, it's Mark and welcome back to the channel. And as part of just moving a few cars around and changing over some covers and things like that, I'm now just going to do that to my 1972 Mark IV Lincoln Continental. So the Mark IV was released in 1972 and this is the best looking one as far as I'm concerned because it actually has this bumper bar that drops down at the front. So you've got this very large grille, full length grille. Later models, there was a bumper guard option, which I do not like at all. And then in 73 and onwards, they started having the bumper go across. And I don't think that looked as good. And I've got a 74 Mark IV, which has got the heavier crash bumpers. So also in 72, you can see these bumpers here are quite, flush with the body of the car. Whereas in 74, they start extending out to meet the crash test, which is 5 mile an hour front and 2.5 rear. So in 74 at least. But yeah, it's a pretty cool car. It's I think it was owned by a Lincoln Continental Club member at some stage. I bought this out of California. I had to put a new vinyl top on it, which my friend Brian did at great expense to the management. No, he did a good job. And the other point is about these 72 and 3 is you've also got this very upswept rear. Again, if you look at a 74, that's got a much heavier bumper at the back. And then also, I don't know if you'll be able to see past the doors here, but the tail lights are here above the bumper bar, or in the bumper bar, I should say. And then on 74, they actually mounted the tail lights were wrap around and they were above the bumper bar. So it was a much heavier look. And so this is, I think, a cleaner design. That's the original. That's the sticker from the club member. So yeah, I bought this, again, I bought this ages ago and it was pretty cheap. It does need some work. Some of the door trims are kind of cracked and have been disassembled. I need to either get some parts off a wreck, which shouldn't be too difficult. That window's not working. I've actually got some cardboard jammed just to keep that window up. It's actually got a very nice brown leather interior. A little bit of wear here on the driver's seat, but you can see the back there amongst the spider webs. That sort of biscuity leather, those little pillows. But the door armrests have been taken off. The door trims have been taken off there. That pull strap needs to be replaced. It's cracked. And same with this. This has all been disassembled. This is all cracked. My friend Tony's watching from Tony's Car Care. If you've got any chocolate brown Mark IV door trim parts, that would be quite useful. There are some in the boot of the car, but they've been cracked and I can replace them or I can repair them, I think, without too much trouble. The steering wheels also needs to be reassembled, it's just been taped up there. Headlining is in really nice condition. There's no issue there. It's got the matte light up here. This has been taken off for some reason. The visor, I think that's in the boot of the car, but obviously I need to fix that. It's got a broken windscreen that needs to be replaced, and also the dash pad's cracked, but I've got a new dash pad for it, so that's not a problem. And I can just colour match that. I think it is brown actually, but if it's slightly different colour, I can just paint it to match. These early 72 models have the rim blow steering wheel. This car was also fitted with cruise control, and it also has, I'm pretty sure it does, it has short track rear anti-lock brakes. Pretty cool, eh? That came out in the Mark III in about 69. Rear anti-lock brakes. So I know people talk about Mercedes-Benz and all this sort of stuff, but Lincoln had anti-lock brakes in the late 60s, so there you go. It's got automatic temperature control. It's funny how in the Mark IVs they had this sort of horizontal grain wood trim, then they had this burled walnut sort of inlays, which I always thought was a bit odd that they did that. I wasn't a huge fan of that. This has actually had an aftermarket radio put in it. I've actually got a Lincoln radio, which I'll take that out and put the original one back in again. There's a whole lot of idiot lights on here as well, as you can see. Door ajar, shore track, that's the brake system, oil pressure, temperature, that tells you after that's already too late. Alternator, low fuel, fasten seat belts, The wiper wash button's missing, and also the cigarette lighter. I think I've got those in the ashtray somewhere. Anyway, it's got its original little book. Yeah, 72 Lincoln book. I don't know whether I just bought that. I always like to have the books for all the cars as well. Yeah, so Lincolns are my favourite cars. I mean, I've got some other favourite sort of GM cars, you know, but Ford Lincoln Mercury from the probably late 60s to late 70s are probably my favourite cars, just generally speaking. I just really like them. As I said, I've got other GM cars, Chryslers, things like that. So I'm not one-eyed when it comes to my vehicles, but Lincolns are my favourite. So I've actually got, I've got a Mark III Lincoln, 1970 model in a cream colour. Which I'll feature on the channel, these cars down the track. I've got this 72 Mark IV, which is sort of a creamy white with the brown. Then I've got a gold 74 Mark IV. Then I've got the 3 Mark Vs that I mentioned in another episode. I've got 2 Mark VIs. I've got a navy blue 4-door sedan with a 351. That's a 1980 model, and then that's got a moonroof in it. And I've also got a Signature Series 1981 302, which was owned by an old 90-year-old lady. And I bought a lot of these cars when they were cheap. No one wanted them in America. Like, people just didn't want the cars, and I don't think people appreciated what they had. You know, I know there's a lot of consumerism and throwaway society, but, and I know people lament, you know, a lot of cars going overseas to either Europe or Australia or whatever, or England, but I think the fact is that a lot of overseas people really appreciated and loved the cars, particularly the big American cars. I mean, the muscle cars have always been pretty collectible in America, but the big luxury cars, I mean, I love those cars. And, yeah, so I think, you know, when they were just cheap as chips at one stage. And so, you know, that's when I guess, bought a lot of my cars at the right price, at the right time, I guess, when people didn't really want them. And now the cars that I bought back then are worth a lot more money, but I didn't buy it to make money. I bought it because I love the cars, you know. So all the Mark IVs had the 460 engine, and let's take a look at the engine, actually. One thing I'm really surprised about is the hood release is not internal. It's got an external catch down here. I've got a 58 Edsel, and even that's got an internal hood release, so it's very odd. So I've checked the fluids. All Mark IVs have a 460, 4-barrel, 4 Venturi, that's 4V, V8. So I've connected up the battery to see if it will start. I reckon it's been like 4 or 5 years, actually. You can hear power because when you open the door, don't know if you can hear this, that noise click, that's a lock on the seat backs. So that stops the seats from flipping forward. Anyway, we have dash lights. Let's see what happens. Doesn't sound too good. It's turning over, but it's turn that radio off. I don't need that on. Doesn't have enough power, or just bad connection. Hang on. See what happens. No. Not enough power. Do I have another battery? Let me look into that. Okay, the joys of old cars. Put another battery in it. Let's just see what happens now. Sounds promising. A lot more power in the battery. May not be any spark. I feel like I want to put some more fuel in that carburetor. Yeah, I want to do that before I run the battery. Okay, let's see what happens this time. Come on. Yes. good. She fired. I have spark. There's more fuel down there. That's all turned off. I hear vents moving and stuff, but I'll make sure all that stuff's off. Okay, so try it again. A bit more fuel in it. Yes. It's live. Nice. Nice. Sounds good. Excellent. Come on. Give it a bit more of a drink. I was very happy with that. It sounded really good, actually. I think this car has dual exhaust. That's pretty good. I mean, this is what I love about American cars, the older ones. People say, oh, they're made like trucks. Yeah, good. They're durable, they're simple, they're easy. You know, you get into some expensive, over-complicated European car, and I've got European cars, and you'd have a lot of trouble, but these things, they're just simple, and I think they're terrific. What I was saying before about, you know, people from, you know, Australia and England and Europe buying the American cars, I mean, I get it. You know, some people would be annoyed and say, oh, you know, our cars are disappearing. But the reality is a lot of these cars wouldn't exist, you know, with cash for clunkers and things like that. A lot of those cars would have been absolutely wrecked. So my view is I'd rather have the cars in existence somewhere in the world. And some cars I know in Australia have been exported back to America, you know, muscle cars and things like that. But I'd rather have them in existence because a lot of these cars were scrapped and ruined. So isn't it better to at least have them existing? Keen to know what you reckon. All right, last little crank, and then we'll probably call it quits. I want to kill the battery. This car I don't think's got a lot of fuel in it. Showing dead empty on the tank. Yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, it turns over, it'll run. So to me, proof of concept. So that's all good. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Look, this is a car that I will fix up. I've already got a lot of the parts for it. And, you know, obviously show a more detailed review of the car, driving review and all that kind of stuff down the track. But, yeah, I'm just glad that it had been sitting a while. And I know you're not meant to let, you know, just starting cars up. And, you know, I know all that sort of stuff. But the car's fine. I cranked it before and there's no tappet noise, nothing at all, and it runs fine. Same with the Mark V that I started before as well. But anyway, look, thanks very much for watching, and please give the episode a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button wherever it is. And yeah, so you don't miss out on a future episode. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.